From the MacWorld iWorld Expo in San Francisco, this is CapMacCast. And here with the latest from the show is your CapMac president, Nancy Gravely.
Okay, hi, this is Nancy Gravely, and we are looking at the first of our products from MacWorld that we really want to display well for everybody to see. And we're visiting with Dror Gil from Israel, who has brought some products to MacWorld that are aimed at both the iPhone and the Mac. Actually, any product, but specifically probably be used most for the iPhone. One is called JPEG Mini, and we're going to talk about that for your iProducts, and we're going to be talking about Beamer, which is the name of their company, Beamer.com, which is for your Mac. So I'm going to let Dor talk about this because he obviously is going to do a better job than I am. So, and he's going to demonstrate this for us as well. So, Dor, welcome to the U.S., welcome to California, welcome to Macworld, and why don't you start out by telling us what it is that you want us to know about?
Okay, thank you very much. What we've developed actually is a technology for optimizing your photos. It takes your photos and it makes them smaller by up to 5 times. So it's 20% of the file size of the original photo. But the nice thing is that we don't change the resolution of the photo. We don't change the quality of the photo. We only make the file smaller. And that's why we call it JPEG Mini, your photos on a diet. Because we take those bloated files that come out of your digital camera or your iPhone, and we make those files smaller and more portable without making any visual changes to them. And that's the nice thing about it. So the first product we're going to show, it's called JPEG Mini for Mac. It's a Mac app for optimizing your photos, and it's very easy to use. So this is the main screen of the app, and as I said, it's very simple. All you have to do is you take a bunch of photos, a folder or several folders, or even your whole iPhone library, and you drag it onto the app. And then the app processes all of your photos one by one, and each photo, it optimizes the file size and reduces it and makes it much smaller. On the counter here, you can see how many megabytes have been saved in this batch of processing, and on the top, you can see how many megabytes have been saved overall since you installed and operated the software. So during the processing, it shows you a nice preview of all the photos that you're optimizing, and it's a nice opportunity to remember all of those photos that you took. But the nice thing is that it saves a lot of space on your hard drive. This is especially important if you have a MacBook Air or the new MacBook with the Retina display that have the SSD drives. SSD drives are typically smaller than hard drives in terms of their capacity and also much more expensive. And you cannot replace them. You buy a MacBook with a SSD drive, typically you cannot replace that drive. You have to upgrade your whole Mac. So after you took a lot of photos on your Mac and your drive starts to fill up, just run JPEG Mini. It optimizes the photos and can free up gigabytes of disk space so you can have more space to take more photos and save your memories. And this works automatically and optimizes your whole photo collection. And then your device is much healthier because all of your photos have been gone through the JPEG Mini diet and take up much less space than before.
That sounds great. I have a couple of questions for you. I have friends who are, to all intent and purposes, could be professional photographers, except that they have to make a living, and so they're really not. But the quality of their photos is outstanding. And then there are people like me who can occasionally take a photograph on my iPhone and hope that it turns out. So we're talking about fantastically different levels of competency as far as taking pictures. So what kind of effect is this going to have on my friends who are exemplary photographers as opposed to my little dinky photos of my grandson?
Okay, that's an excellent question. The algorithm we have developed And by the way, that was quite heavy development. It took us 3 years of intensive research and development to come up with this algorithm. And until now, we filed 35 patent applications on the algorithm. The algorithm is very adaptive, so it can go and optimize any type of photo. If it's a high quality photo, everything is in focus, high resolution, it will work great. And if it's a low quality photo that you took in the dark and it's smaller, it doesn't matter. It always knows how to take your photo and make the file size as small as possible without ever hurting the quality. Sometimes if it's a photo from a high resolution DSLR, which is very large, it can make a very large benefit also in the savings because there is a lot of redundancy in all of those pixels, and we can take advantage of that and reduce the size. But also, even if the photo is dark or blurry, okay, it means that when you compress it, it will even be harder for you to notice any additional changes or reduction in quality. So even on those type of photos, we can save a lot. So whether you're a professional photographer and you take 10, 20,000 photos a month, and you have a lot of space that you want to save on your disks, or you're an amateur photographer and you take only several dozens photos a day, something like that, we can still, on each one of these circumstances, save a lot of disk space, and we can always optimize your photos. The nice thing about the technology is that it is always safe. It will never hurt your photo. It will never reduce the quality of your photo. And that's why we can run it automatically on a large set of photos, and that's why we feel safe enough to replace your photos with a JPEG Mini version. Because what the software does, each photo, it processes it, and then it erases the original and writes the JPEG Mini version instead of the original. Otherwise, we couldn't save disk space. We would only increase the disk space. So we feel safe doing that because the technology is always safe and will never reduce the quality of your photo.
Oh, okay. That is really important. I'm glad you mentioned that. I have two more questions for you about this app. One is, using this app, once we've created these mini photos, is it going to have any effect on how many photos that I can email to somebody? Am I going to be able to email 6 as opposed to 1 in an email? And also, what's the price?
Yes, definitely you get the benefit of sharing. The first benefit is reduction of disk space. But once your photos have been optimized and they've been put on a diet, they're lighter, they travel faster, and they take up less space. So when you share the photos, you also get the advantage of the size. So indeed, instead of sending only a few photos in an email, you can send dozens and dozens of full resolution photos to someone else, and it will not be rejected because this email still has files that are very small. Another important benefit, let's say you have some cloud storage. You bought 5 gigabytes or 10 gigabytes on iCloud for storing your photos, and as you know, this fills up very quickly because on your iPhone, you have 16, 32, 64 gigabytes. And now on the iPad, you can have 128 gigabytes. If you take a lot of photos and that fills up, your cloud storage is overwhelmed by the amount of photos. So once you optimize the photos, let's say in 5 gigabytes, if previously you can store maybe 2,000 photos, after optimization, you can store 10,000 photos in the same 5 gigabytes because the photos are smaller. So it makes your online storage in iCloud or Picasa or Flickr or any other service that you use to store your photos much more efficient. You can store more for the same price.
And the price?
Regarding the price, we have 2 versions of the app. JPEG Mini Lite enables you to optimize up to 20 photos each day. So if you only want to use it occasionally, that's a good app for you, and that's completely free, available on the App Store. The second version is JPEG Mini Full, the full version of JPEG Mini. It lets you optimize an unlimited number of photos, and that costs $19.99 on the App Store. The app is also available on B&H Photo Video on their online store for purchase.
Well, $19.99 for somebody who's a real serious photographer is a whole lot less a one-time fee than continuing to buy iCloud space, right? Okay, I'm impressed. I can think of a lot of people who are going to be really interested in this. I can see that they might be, wonder if it's really going to work, and they're going to have to try it out. But you sound pretty confident that it really is going to work for them, and that's probably all it's going to take. So it's, and they can do that with the light version because they're going to get the same quality that way, right? Okay, so they're not going to lose anything if they try this. And if they don't want to, if they want to try it with the pictures that they want to submit to National Geographic for publication, they can try it out with something else. So it's a win-win situation.